In this video, I'll discuss the similarities and differences between on-premise data solutions and cloud-based data solutions. In the on-premise IT model, organizations control their own information. They have local access to it. Even if their data lives on a server 3 states over, it is still considered local because it resides on a company-owned server residing behind a company firewall. It's the basic WAN model. In this model, organizations have their own IT department or have hired a third party to manage everything. In any event, the company pays for and controls its own infrastructure. The company is responsible for its own installations of OSs and software, and they're responsible for all patching of said OSs and software. They have to know their security, meaning they have to understand and own it, and they're responsible for keeping everything secure. The storage an organization has is protected by its own safety and security mechanisms, and they own the software licenses and the responsibility for managing them and adhering to those licenses. And let's face it, the on-premise model feels comfortable because it's what companies have been doing for the past 40 years or so. In the on-premise model, you get to decide exactly how things are done. So you have complete control over every aspect of your infrastructure. In a sense, it's right there, meaning you have direct access, even if the infrastructure resides somewhere other than your office building. And you can choose and create and manage your tools in keeping everything running smoothly. The cloud model, on the other hand, can be regarded as an opportunity or maybe as a loss of control. The access is remote, meaning that the software and data live somewhere else. This is a bit of a red herring because that's true of on-premise software and hardware too, but there's a bit of a psychological principle at play here. Some people like to know that they own a thing while others don't really care as long as it works. In the cloud model, you don't have to worry about installations or patching of software. It's done for you by the cloud provider. Organizations in the cloud have a limited IT footprint internally. They may still have an IT department, but that department is smaller and nimbler, focused on monitoring, managing, and tailoring the experience instead of sleeves rolled up in the weeds every day keeping things working. Organizations in the cloud rely on the security of the cloud provider, so it's important for an organization to understand and feel comfortable with that provider's security. The storage is located remotely. Again, this is not unlike the on-premise WAN model, and there's a psychological principle to consider here. And the software, unlike the on-premise model, is on demand and provided by the cloud provider. So, with all these considerations, what's a company to do? Cloud adoption has really taken off over the past few years, and more organizations are making the move. But to those companies that haven't yet taken the plunge, the decision can be intimidating. After all, you're moving your IT operations, your baby, to someone else's hardware. You wouldn't be blamed if you felt a sense of loss of control, something you built that you're proud of. You're now using provisioned services instead of providing your own. And those tools you'll be using are someone else's tools. Companies often build custom tools to suit their own needs. So there might be a learning curve when you're migrating to someone else's management interface. All this is to say that there are real considerations to be made, and it's important to understand both sides of the argument before you make a move to the cloud.